One of the topics I wanted to bring up was the state of the bass in popular music. Now, in jazz and classical, obviously the instrument is alive and well. You can, and it's thriving, of course, with new gear, digital recording, Zoom lessons, YouTube tutorials, good and bad, and streaming. But in popular music, the instrument has really kind of vanished. I mean, since the 21st century, and we have to understand pop music is the portal by which most people are introduced to music. And myself, as an example, I grew up in the 1970s, and there was such a platform as FM radio. And I would hear such artists as Roberta Flack, Janis Ian, Paul Simon, Gil Scott-Heron. And I would go to the record store and I would pick up, the record, and I'd see the name Ron Carter. And then I would say, well, who's this guy, Ron Carter? So I'd ask the record store clerk, and he or she would bring me to the jazz department, and I'd get one of these. You remember that record, Ron?
Oh, yeah.
And, but right now, I don't see pop music. I don't hear pop music. I don't hear bass on new records by Rihanna or Dua Lipa or Jay-Z or Kanye or Beyonce. It's almost like, it's either program bass with no harmonic or rhythmic movement. And, we have plenty of great young bass players out there, Joe Dart, Esperanza Spalding, Tal Winkenfeld. But, is our instrument compromised now that it's no longer the foundation of pop music? What do you think? And how do we get it back? Thoughts?
I think bass lines are still going to be a foundation because they help propel music. There's currently there are maybe less pop tunes that have discernible bass lines, but that's a fashion. And there's a lot of young bands out there that are using bass, and there's some really great bass players out there that are just killing it. And they're doing pop songs. They're doing pop-ish songs. There's a lot of hybridization going on, and they're out there touring. Joyce Manor, those people from Jersey, I forgot their names. All these bands that my son listens to, and they got bass lines, and they're really, there's some really good ones out there. So I don't think it's gone away or been compromised. Maybe a little, but the bass line still is, the instrument, who knows, I don't know. Yeah. I'm taking up photography myself. So.
I think George Farmer, who you may know, was a wonderful player in New York, was really active in the Broadway show scene as a bassist and always in demand. He did a show maybe 6 months ago on upright bass lines in the current pop music. I'm sure it's on YouTube somewhere, because his name is George Farmer.
Okay.
Farmer. And he has some wonderful examples of upright being used in a pop tune, a famous pop tune, a hot number, so to speak.
Okay.
And it's just interesting that you're right. Right now, it's all about playing a soft melody on the pillow for the bass beat.
Right. Right.
I can't imagine.
Maybe I'm an old guy, but I miss hearing.
No, you are an old guy.
I am an old guy. I miss hearing Ron Carter or Jerry Jamot or Chuck Rainey dance around the beat and dance around the harmony. That's what made records to me. And same with Benny Rietveld's predecessor, this guy David Brown, another guy who got me into bass. Right, those deep grooves that David Brown did. And so many times, Ron, when I listen to contemporary music, it sounds like a demo, man. Where's the bass?
Gorillas.
Where's the chord?
There's a chord, yeah.
You mentioned Gorillas.
It's a good band out of
yes.
UK. There's bands out there. The kids are starting to realize that the music that they like my kids' age, is all the stuff with real people playing on it. I mean, they're all. If I can go by my son and his friend groups, you know, they're all listening to all the 70s and 80s music.
Really?
Because
How old is your son?
he's 19. They're
Okay.
all like, they're all listening to all these actual players that
Okay.
created grooves, you know. And
I don't know those records. Can you send me some names? I have no idea. No, really.
yeah, I mean,
no idea.
yeah, there are some. It's not like, you know,
the bass players I see are up in the 20s and 30s who want to know how to play the bass.
oh yeah. Well, there's a great
Not
band
the
out
guys
of
who just learn how to
Dallas.
tie their shoelaces. You know, I want to find somebody.
No.
Get
Like,
to see.
there's a band called Funky Knuckles out of Dallas.
That's
That
right.
bass player, killing band. These guys, yeah, they used to back up Erykah Badu, and that bass player is like, he's got actual tone too, which is,
Oh, okay.
you know, and he can do some technical stuff, but he concentrates on feel first, you know. It's
Okay.
like, you know, and there are guys out there that are doing it. Like Ghost Note is another great band.
Wolfpack with Joe Dart. Joe Dart is arguably probably the most popular young bass player on the scene now. But again,
yeah, Wolfpack, yeah.
yeah, and
Well, they're a different kind of band. You know, their music is, but no, you check out Funky Knuckles, man. Those
Can you
guys.
send me a
Yeah,
list
yeah.
of more than one band so I can hear these guys?
Yeah.
I have no
Yeah.
idea.